Hey, welcome to The Explainer. We often think about health in terms of diet, exercise, and trips to the doctor. But what if the biggest things shaping how healthy we are have less to do with our personal choices and more to do with the world we live in? Okay, let's jump in and unpack what really makes us healthy. Just think about that for a second. We're always told, eat your veggies, go for a run. And look, that stuff is definitely important, but it's only one piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. So that's the big question we're digging into today. What if being healthy is about more than just willpower? So here's our game plan. We're going to start by looking past our personal habits. Then we'll get into the 5 official keys that really shape our health. We'll spend a good chunk of time on how our world affects our wellness, and we'll also touch on the role our biology plays. And it all leads to this really big, important idea: health equity. All right, so let's start by zooming way out. It's time to move past thinking that our health is just about the choices we make every day and start to see the much larger forces at play. Here's the core idea we're working with. Our health is a mashup of all kinds of different things. And yeah, some of them are personal, but a whole lot of them are social, economic, and environmental factors that, honestly, we don't have much direct control over. These are kind of the hidden drivers of how we feel. So what are these hidden drivers then? Well, luckily for us, public health experts have a pretty neat framework to help us make sense of it all. It organizes all these different influences into 5 main categories. The official name for these things is determinants of health, but don't let the technical term throw you off. Just think of it like a recipe. It's not one single ingredient, but a whole mix of things: our genes, our social life, our daily habits, our environment, that all come together to create the final picture of our health. And this, right here, is the part that might blow your mind. Our genes, our biology, and our personal behaviors, all the stuff we tend to focus on, that only accounts for about a quarter of what makes us healthy. The other 75%, that comes from our social and physical worlds. I mean, let that sink in. The world around us has 3 times more impact on our health than our own individual choices. So let's break that pie chart down into the 5 official pieces. You've got genes and biology and health behaviors. That's the 25% slice. But then you have the big 3 that make up that huge 75% chunk: our social environment, our physical environment, and our health services. We're about to see just how powerful those 3 really are. Okay, given that it's the biggest piece of the pie by far, let's really zoom in on that social part. This is all about how the society we live in literally gets under our skin and affects our health. So what does that actually mean, social determinants of health? Well, it's pretty simple, really. It's the conditions of your daily life: where you were born, the schools you went to, the job you have, the neighborhood you live in. It's all about the resources that are or aren't available to you. Basically, it's your life circumstances. And in the real world, this means everything from how much school you finished to whether your job is stable. It's about whether you have enough food on the table or a safe place to sleep at night. And you can see how they're all linked, right? A better education often leads to a better job, which means more income, which affects where you can live and the kind of healthcare you can get. It's like a chain reaction for your well-being. And when you stack all those factors up, you get something called the social patterning of health. This is a really key idea. It just means that being healthy or being sick isn't random. It actually follows very predictable patterns that line up with things like income and education. It means your zip code can sometimes be a better predictor of your health than your genetic code. Wild, isn't it? Now, that social piece is huge. There's no doubt about it. But it isn't the entire picture. That 25% is still pretty significant. So let's switch gears and talk about the role our own bodies and our family history play in all this. So within that 25%, it's helpful to split things into 2. First, you have biological factors. This is the natural stuff our bodies go through. Aging is the perfect example. Then you have genetic factors, and these are different. These are the specific traits we actually inherit from our parents, like the genes that cause sickle cell disease. To make it super clear, here are a few more examples. Biological factors include things like your age or your sex, and then for genetic factors, it could be a specific condition you inherit, like sickle cell, or maybe you carry a gene that raises your risk for cancer, or even just having a family history of something like heart disease. This is kind of the blueprint we're born with. Okay, so why have we gone through all of this? Why is it so important to understand all these different factors, from your income to your genes? Because it all points us toward a really critical goal: achieving something called health equity. This definition just says it all, doesn't it? Health equity is not about everyone having the exact same health outcome. It's about everyone having a fair and just opportunity to be as healthy as they can possibly be. It means that where you live or how much money your family makes shouldn't decide how long you live. And this is where it all comes back together. If we want to reach that goal, that world where everyone has a fair shot, the source material is very clear. The main way to get there is by tackling those social determinants of health, that huge 75% slice of the pie. That's where we can make the biggest impact. So the path forward starts to look pretty clear. Step 1, you have to address those root causes, the social factors like poverty and unequal access to education. Once you start doing that, you'll begin to shrink those predictable and unfair health gaps between different groups. And the end goal? Health equity, a state where everyone, truly, has a fair shot at a healthy life. So that leaves us with one final and really important question to ponder. If our environment, our economy, and our social structures are the biggest drivers of our health, what role can all of us in our communities play in building a healthier future for everyone?